As leaders from around the world mobilize to defeat ISIS, the terror group is mobilizing on its own. It's putting together its team to produce chemical weapons. There is a new report from U.S. intelligence officials that says ISIS could eventually carry out attacks on a scale, quote, that we've never seen before. How credible is this threat? How close are they? Ambassador Marc Ginsberg says we need to overhaul the U.S. strategy to defeat ISIS now. In fact, he's laying out a plan to do it. He served as U.S. ambassador to Morocco under President Clinton, also former advisor to the White House on Mideast policy. Ambassador, you worked for President Carter. You worked for Vice President Gore. On the Democratic side, certainly you understand where the president comes from right now, but boy, you had an op-ed that just came out, and I want to read a line from it because it was strong and it was harsh. Memo to Mr. Obama. This cool hand Luke stuff has worn awfully thin, flaunting failed policies under false pretenses and false promises, cries out for a mid-course correction before it is too late. What are you trying to say to the president right now?
Well, I'm trying to basically exercise some tough love here. The most important thing is for us to understand that the approach that the White House has taken in the battle against ISIS has been a failure. The New York Times today even had a front-page article saying that the vaunted coalition is a Potemkin village. It's important for us, whether we Republicans or Democrats, to understand that this administration has consistently, at every turn, dismissed and underestimated the threat that ISIS poses to the United States. And as ISIS has morphed from a small terrorist organization into a global terrorist threat, all of us who have been watching this, and I just spent 2 weeks in the Middle East, I've been there on and off nonstop for the last 5 months. The threat is real because ISIS is no longer a threat to just the Arab states. It has now been aligned with Al-Qaeda. It is now, in effect, overtaking all of these extremist Islamic organizations. And in its English publication, Liz, Dabiq, it has laid out a scenario time and again on how to construct weapons, propane tank explosives, and they have already used chemical weapons against their adversaries in Syria.
That's what I want to get to. There is this new report that says that they now not only have the ability to do what we just talked about, which is be very smart online, they actually are chemists. They have put together chemical weapons, mustard, nerve, who knows, ricin. You know, if you read I Am Pilgrim, it's a novel talking about smallpox. Is this a possibility, and what should we be doing? You say that we need a field guide to a better anti-ISIS campaign. Shouldn't chemical weapons and how to deal with that be at the very top?
Absolutely. And look, they've already proven that they will construct rudimentary chemical weapons, particularly mustard gas. And Liz, what I laid out in my Huffington Post piece is frankly very essential. Look, cutting ISIS in half is essential. It derives its legitimacy from the territory it controls. We need Arab boots on the ground to cut up that territory, point one. Point two, we have to suffocate their capacity to export oil. Frankly, the president has finally, but it's taken him over 6 months to begin doing that by attacking their transports. Number three, we have to stop Tunisia and Saudi Arabia and other Arab states from facilitating the underground railroad of ISIS fighters. Tunisia, Liz, is the largest supplier outside of Iraq and Syria for ISIS recruits in the entire world. Okay? And finally, just to add to a longer list, it's essential for us to understand that we have to use a much more sophisticated anti-encryption technology to bust the back of their social media campaign and kick them offline.
Amen. Let's just hope that we're starting to do some of those things now. I encourage our viewers to read your op-ed in the Huffington Post. Strong words, but we've got to figure this out now, more like yesterday. Ambassador Marc Ginsberg, thank you for joining us.
Good to be with you.